on the screen, I want to give my guests tonight, who we are having hail from St. Lucia. Her name is Kanika Nafre. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right. One beautiful, soul. She's like a spirit sister to me. It's strange that when we go places and we connect, and ever since we have connected, I know many of you, we have connected in different areas. Of course, my gorgeous queen, Dr. Rutan, she's my soul flame in certain areas, as she always say it, how she always put it there, our tribe, So we're from the same tribe. But this beautiful young lady hails out of the beautiful island of St. Lucia. And a little bit about herself. She's a certified peristeam. She will explain that to you guys, hydrotherapist. And her practice involves the use of herbs, vaginal steam therapy, and food therapy guidelines founded in TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine, and lifestyle recommendations for optimum feminine wellness. Now, she's going to speak to us on issues that concerns the vagina and moving forward in what V-steam therapy is all about, which is vaginal steam therapy. I have been blessed to have one of the V-steam done, and later down, we're going to talk about it at the ending of the program, what was the experience. But I want to give her the time and space tonight to talk about her specialty and how it affects us females. Because I have never, before I bring her on, I must say, I have never experienced and understand the vagina in the way, I teach it, I work, with the vagina. We have been doing sessions on the vagina and its microbiome and so forth. But to actually hear from an expert how she explains and the questions she asks, that it can also tell us, when we do iridology or we do the EMRI scans, I can tell you what's going on with the body. Well, tonight, folks, she is going to tell you about the vagina and all the areas that involves the vagina and how that affects us, our menstrual cycle, how it affects birthing, how it affects our moods, how it affects hormonal imbalances, and why we are how we are and what goes through our system. All right. So tonight, without further ado, I want to bring on the beautiful Queen Kanika online. Are you there, Queen?
Yes, I am here, Dr. Joy. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Are you able to hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we are hearing you loud and clear. So the floor is all yours.
All right, fantastic. Good evening to your guests, and I want to thank all of them for joining tonight and thank them for their listening ears and their attention as I deliver this message this evening. Right, so as Joy said, I am a peristeam hydrotherapist. And what that means essentially is we use vaginal steam as a therapy to help to address various issues that women deal with on a feminine health level, right? So peri is a shortened term for the perineum, and steam, of course, speaks for itself. So we combine the words together to make peristeam hydrotherapy. So that's what this title is all about. But in simple terms, it just means using vaginal steam as a form of therapy. All right. So this evening, I'm going to just give you a quick synopsis about what this is all about and how I deliver it to the community. And you can feel free to interject as well, Joy, if you have any questions or anything that you would like to ask on behalf of the guests. So first of all, I want to touch on how I came up with the business idea for V-steam therapy. And that will help to put things into a good perspective for everyone. So I was not sitting and trying to, strategize what can I do for business and that sort of thing when I came up with V-steam therapy. I was actually a woman, like most of the women, looking for natural therapies for the issues that I was dealing with, mainly things like terrible menstrual symptoms like debilitating cramps and heavy bleeding, passing lots of clots, getting all the mood swings, poor digestion, bloating, and all of these sorts of things. I dreaded my period every month, so I was at a stage where I couldn't live with just taking not birth control, sorry, painkillers every month to deal with my menstrual cycle. And I couldn't live my life like that with my menstrual cycle being like a nightmare for me. So I came across vaginal steam therapy and I decided to give it a try for myself. And I was blown away by the results because, I've tried so many different things. And even after giving birth to my son, where several people say after you give birth, you don't get cramps anymore, but I still had it, and then I was blown away by the results that I got from the vaginal steaming. All of that disappeared. And I was like, wow, look at so many women in my immediate community that I know who can benefit from this, or if only they know that this thing exists. Because generally we're in this place as women where we feel helpless about a lot of the things that we deal with our feminine health. So that's how I decided to go ahead and go get certified, go and learn this on the highest level so that I can deliver it to my fellow women so that they can get freedom and liberty and to live their dreams and to be their best selves in terms of their health. So fast forward now, I started offering this as a service here in St. Lucia from 2019. And since then, I've worked with hundreds of women and the feedback has been amazing. And it's just a beautiful thing to see that, yes, this worked for me, but to hear the feedback of other women who have used it is just amazing, and the things that they're reporting. So on this note, I'm going to go straight into some of the benefits that the users are reporting from this therapy. So on a medical and physiological level, most women, well, we have women who deal with fibroids who have gotten amazing results. The fibroids have shrunk, fibroids have disappeared. They've passed out fibroids during their periods just through getting on a vaginal steam plan. We have women who have been feeling so helpless with things like polycystic ovaries, and getting them on a vaginal steam plan and changing their diet, getting it in line with the underlying imbalances, and changing some of their lifestyle and eating habits. Just that over a period of at least, say, 6 to 12 months, and they report that they have no more polycystic ovaries, the cysts, the multiple cysts have disappeared, their period is amazing in less than about 3 months, their period is amazing, and those are people who have been reporting irregular periods for most of their lives, right? And even women who have been dealing with reoccurring infections after they started doing vaginal steaming, they realize that they're no longer having these infections coming back, right? So I can carry on with so many more benefits, but I want to get into a little more detail as to how this works so that you understand what I'm talking about. So what I generally screen for when I speak with each woman is there are 7 underlying imbalances that we deal with in our reproductive systems. And most of the issues.
All right. So let me inject here now.
Yes.
So what you are telling me is that doing V-steam is a good way of balancing microbiota in the vagina.
Yes.
Because we have all these bacteria there. So that can affect how we feel, how a menstrual cycle looks. I mean, I know you're going into that just now, and
yes,
why we get what we get and so forth. So this is very interesting, guys, because sometimes we have our menstrual cycle, it comes, it's irregular. Then I didn't believe that. I mean, I know she's going to talk about this now that she says 7 things she looks for, and I'm not going to just burst the bubble here, but listen, when she asks you these questions, it's amazing to know by the color of what it looks like, by whatever you are seeing in the first and coming down to the end, how that can tell you what is going on with the uterus, the lining, if it is stress, if it is heat, If it is, wow, it's amazing. Girlfriend, take it away.
Thank you very much for that, Joy. So we're going to go straight into the first one. So the first imbalance here is stagnation. And by stagnation, I mean poor blood circulation. And as I run through each of these seven, I'm sure that our listeners can identify which of these seven underlying imbalances are indicated in their menstrual cycles and their overall uterine health, right? So the first one is stagnation or poor blood circulation. So the signs that determine that, the signs that would indicate to you that you may have poor blood circulation in your period, because our period is like a monthly report of our health for each given month, right? So the first signs for stagnation are, number one, you get a hesitant start with the period. So you're spotting, it's brown, you're spotting for a few days before the period actually starts. So this here is one sign of poor blood circulation, right? Number two, you get cramps or you get a shooting pain in the uterus during your period. This is another sign, right? Another sign is heavy bleeding, right? So when there is stuff that is stuck on the uterine lining and the womb needs to take action to get it to come out, because our period is a monthly womb cleanse, then it's going to say to the uterine, hey, open up and send some more blood so we can try to flush out these things that's stuck on the lining of the uterus. And that's how a lot of people realize that they start bleeding heavily, right? So this is another sign of the stagnation. And other signs are swelling. So people may notice that they have swelling in their feet, or they have swelling in their arms, or they also get breast tenderness or breast soreness. Some persons also get headaches. All of these are signs that things are stuck and not moving or flowing as they should, whether it is your blood or your general energy overall. So these are signs of stagnation. These are some of the signs of stagnation or poor blood circulation. Yeah. And then also, if you have a hesitant end of the period, meaning you've stopped bleeding, but for a few days you're still spotting that brown blood and that sort of thing, it's also a sign of poor blood circulation there. And the next one, number two, is uterine fatigue. Now let's pay close attention for this one, right? So uterine fatigue, the term, it speaks for itself. It's basically tiredness of the uterus. And the uterus gets tired because it's in our bodies. So when our body or our mind is tired, then of course, all our organs experience that fatigue as well. So the signs for us to look for to determine if we have uterine fatigue are, number one, we would notice that our menstrual cycles are very short. And by that, I mean persons are getting their periods before cycle day 28. So anything under 28 days, so your cycle is 27 days, and then you get a period of 26 days, 25 days, 24 days. These we consider to be short menstrual cycles. So generally our menstrual cycles are supposed to follow the pattern of the moon. So as women, we are connected to the moon. So just like the moon has 4 phases, each phase 7 days, adding up to a total of 28 to 30 days for each cycle. This is how our menstrual cycles are supposed to be as women. And how we determine that is that when we do a uterine health analysis or a menstrual cycle analysis, where we do this survey and we ask all these different questions, when we get a clean report whereby it's a no for all of the questions, then we notice this pattern. We notice that it's a 28 to 30 day cycle and you bleed for general 4 days. And I'm going to get a little more into what the period should look like and whatnot, but I want to stick on the imbalances that we were looking at for now. So uterine fatigue, another sign is we may notice that we get 2 periods in a month, or you just had your period about 2 or 3 weeks ago and then it's here again, or we notice that we're spotting during ovulation, right? Just some spotting light blood during ovulation, or we're spotting after sex or after physical activity. All of these are signs of uterine fatigue as well, right? Another one as well, this one is a very big one, is there are women who notice that, they don't have a difficulty in getting pregnant, but they have a difficulty in maintaining and sustaining a pregnancy full term. And uterine fatigue is also a major indicator to that. Now, what happens when someone has uterine fatigue is that as the uterus is tired, it's not able to hold for as long as it should. So just like the uterine artery is not able to stay closed for a full 28 days, by the time you get to day 27, it's like, okay, I held on for as long as I could have. Now I gotta let go. And then you get an early period. It's the same thing when you have a baby in there, right? If you have a baby in there and your uterus is fatigued because you are tired, or your brain is tired because you're doing a lot of physical work, or you're stressed for various reasons, you're dealing with taking care of sick people or little children, or you're going through transitions in your life, big events coming up, that sort of thing can also cause uterine fatigue as well, right? So we're going to move on to the next one, and that one is excess dampness. Right? So excess dampness basically means excess mucus and other fluids in the reproductive system. Right? Now, what are the signs of excess dampness? Excess dampness would be indicated by excess white discharge. And if the discharge also is yellow or brown or even green, then we would also have excess dampness coupled with excess heat. Now we're going to cover the excess heat next, but for now, let's finish up with the excess dampness. So what causes excess dampness in the reproductive system? It's mostly what we eat. So if we eat a lot of mucus forming foods such as dairy, lots of red meats, lots of alcohol, oily foods, lots of sweets, white foods like white potatoes, foods made of white flour, all of these cause excess dampness in the reproductive system. Now, when we have this case of excess dampness, meaning there's a lot of mucus and all this sorts of fluids in the reproductive system, what that does is that it creates a breeding ground for bacteria, for yeast, for fungus and other pathogens to thrive and multiply and grow, right? Because there's the dampness and the moisture that they need for them to grow themselves, right? Now, how vaginal steaming helps with that regard is that the steam helps to drain out that excess dampness and excess mucus in the reproductive system. So persons who have a case where they find themselves having reoccurring infections, they usually have excess dampness, which is what these things need for them to keep popping up. So once you start a steam plan and you drain out all of that excess dampness, then you don't have the conditions that these pathogens need for them to grow and thrive and keep popping up. Right? So that was number 3. The next one, as I said earlier, we're going to touch on is excess heat. So excess heat is indicated by things like infections, infections such as bacterial vaginosis, yeast infections, HPV, all of the various infections are signs of excess heat in the reproductive system and in the body as well. Another sign is if we're having hot flashes, this is another sign of excess heat, or if we experience burning or itching sensations around the vaginal area, these are also signs of excess heat in the reproductive system. Now, persons who go through menopause or early menopause as well, menopause, do experience signs of excess heat by the hot flashes and that sort of thing. Now, vaginal steaming also helps to soothe the excess heat once it's done with the right herbs. There are lots of herbs that have a cooling effect, and by a cooling effect, it means that they fight heat. They get rid of bacteria, they get rid of infections, they're antifungal, they're antiviral. So these sorts of herbs in these categories are generally the cooling herbs, right? So once we use these herbs for vaginal steaming and we avoid things that introduce heat in the body, things like lots of hot pepper and hot baths and that sort of thing, these would contribute to excess heat. So we can move over now to the next imbalance, which is dryness. Now, dryness in this case is dehydration. So the signs that I would look for to determine whether someone is suffering from or dealing with a case of dryness are if you have a case of vaginal atrophy or they experience general dryness in the vaginal area, sex is dry, they have to use lubrication or lubricants, sorry, to engage in sexual intercourse. There is no natural wetness that occurs when it's time for sexual intercourse. So these are signs of dryness. Other ones that are not related to the vagina is if you have dry or itchy skin or dry or itchy scalp or dry chapped lips. All of these are signs that tell you that your body is dehydrated, right? So the best way to address dryness and dehydration is to drink lots of water and to eat lots of fruits that are loaded in water, such as watermelons and those types of watery fruits. And also the cooling herbs, when you steam with the cooling herbs, these also help to alleviate the dryness. A lot of women who have been dealing with vaginal dryness, they do notice, this is one of the things that they notice as well. They notice that they get a lot more moisture down in the vaginal area. All right. So the next one that we're going to cover now is weak digestion. All right. So the indicators for weak digestion are number one, if you have lots of bloating, this is one sign, and diarrhea, constipation, these are all signs of weak digestion. And vaginal steaming can also help in that regard, as since your anus is right there and your all of the lower digestive organs can get impacted by the steam when the steam carries the medicinal properties of the herbs through those blood vessels that are right there in our rectal area. And the last one here, last but not least, is blood deficiency. So blood deficiency, the term basically speaks for itself. It's persons who are low in iron, and the indicators here are if you notice that your menstrual cycle lasts for about 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and the flow is very scanty, these are signs of low blood or blood deficiency, right? And good ways to address that is to incorporate iron-rich foods, foods that are high in iron, foods like the spinach. Sea moss is really good. Sea moss is number one when it comes to blood deficiency. Taking it in as a drink or incorporating it into your foods and even including it in your vaginal steams really helps because now that we've covered all of them, I'm going to touch on something else after that. But just as a recap, the first one, stagnation, poor blood circulation. The next one is uterine fatigue. The third one is excess dampness. The fourth one is excess heat. The fifth one is dryness. The sixth one is weak digestion. And the last one we covered was blood deficiency. So I'm sure that some of our listeners by now may have been able to identify at least one or two of these imbalances in their own reproductive systems, right? Now, I want to move on now to the next thing that I really wanted to cover with your listeners, Joy. I wanted to touch on this question that I get often. Why isn't vaginal steaming a more common practice today with all of the issues that we're dealing with in women's health? And what I would say to that is it used to be a standard practice in most indigenous cultures, This is one of the standard things that women did after they gave birth. After a woman gave birth, she would generally do some vaginal steaming for postpartum recovery to get the womb back to a pre-pregnancy state. And another thing too, if in certain cultures like in Haiti and other Caribbean countries as well, if a woman was raped or experienced some form of sexual trauma, one of the first aid steps would be a vaginal steam. And the benefits here would be to get rid of or to clear out the attacker's fluids from your body, and also to have a spiritual release and an energy cleanse as well from the experience, right? And with the rise of lots of things like when Christianity came about, when colonization came about, and all of these things basically outlawed a lot of these natural practices like vaginal steaming. For example, the church determined that a lot of herbal practices were quote unquote witchcraft and that women should not practice them. And then with the rise of modern day gynecology as well, all of the female natural practitioners were outlawed. You know, all of the natural health practitioners were outlawed, and women were being asked to go to a medical practitioner for medical health, right? And all of these things through slavery as well. We lost a lot of our practices. All of these things contributed to the fact that we're no longer seeing vaginal steaming as a common practice now. However, in recent times, up until now, we're going into a shift now where women are returning back to a lot of these practices that were keeping us in optimal health. And now we're at a place where we can marry Western medicine with the natural and Eastern practices. So the natural and Eastern practices is what we would use to take care of ourselves, to help to prevent and to maintain good health. And then in the case of an acute situation, then, you know, our medical practitioners can step in here. But my aim and my vision is for women generally to be able to observe their bodies, observe what is coming out of our bodies, observe what is landing on our panties, and be able to tell what's going on with ourselves, right? So if we notice that our blood is dark red or it's brown and it has a bit of an odor, then we do know that, okay, our circulation is not the best right now, and we may also have a pathogen or some excess heat there. So we can take some natural steps to address that, and then if it requires medical attention, then we go to our doctors. But simple things we should be able to pick up and read on our own. All right. And are you there with me, Joy? I know I know I've been going on for a bit.
No. I'm soaking up information, and I'm sure the others are. So yes, you continue, and you know, we will answer questions after. So you just let us know when you're ready to take questions, and
right.
you know, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I was touching a bit on my vision with V-STEAM therapy. The vision is to basically empower women and girls. So we want to provide natural self-care empowerment. We want to empower women with the tools, the information that our aunties and our grandmothers had, that we are losing slowly and gradually and surely. So we want to be able to know, okay, you're experiencing this type of pain now, go outside and pick this leaf and make this tea with it. So this is the concept that we want to bring back with V-STEAM therapy, right? And we want to also, and when I talk about empowerment, I know a lot of women and especially young girls are struggling with menstrual cramps and being even to the point where they hate their periods. The periods is a dreaded time because of the amount of pain and and discomfort that they experience during the periods. And you know, the helplessness is what's really I'm targeting. You know, the helplessness that we feel like, okay, this is life for you as a girl, or this is life for you as a woman. Sorry that you have a womb, but this is what it's like to have a womb. You have to deal with the pain. No, we want to change that narrative, and we want women to know that you can do these things and you can experience relief, and you can have a much better, more positive relationship with your period, right? So now I'm going to touch on what is a menstrual cycle analysis. So I sort of did a bit of that when I was explaining each of the underlying imbalances to you. So a menstrual cycle analysis is basically looking at your menstrual cycle and what's happening during that time, and determining where your health is for that given month. Right. So as we said about the stagnation, we said about the uterine fatigue. If you notice that, okay, your period is a few days early this month, so you can do a check to see, okay, what's going on this time around? And you may notice that things are a bit more hectic or stressful at work, or you may notice that you've been having a lot of draining conversations lately, or, you know, by paying attention and just tuning in and listening and being aware, we can be a lot more proactive with our feminine health, because all of the issues that we deal with, they stem from at least one or two of these underlying imbalances. For example, polycystic ovaries and fibroids, before these appeared in the womb, a woman had to be dealing with two of the underlying imbalances, and these are the stagnation, the poor circulation, and excess dampness. So picture this: you have excess dampness, meaning excess fluids and mucus in the reproductive system, and that is coupled with poor circulation. That means things are not moving or flowing as they should. So what you'll get is the mucus and the fluids, they form pockets. You know, they form pockets on your organs, on your ovaries, on your uterine lining, you know, because it's not being flushed out of the system during the menstrual cycle as it should, right? And then uterine fatigue, usually women who deal with excess bleeding, these are the indicators, and it also affects you during pregnancy as well. It affects your ability to sustain a full-term pregnancy, right? So just paying attention to these things, we can be aware of what's happening with us and how we can address them before they escalate into these issues like the fibroids, the cysts, the polycystic ovaries, the infections, the recurring infections, and all of these things, right? So now let's see, the next point I wanted to touch on is what are my offerings? So how am I offering this to the community? So the first thing that I do is I offer a consultation, a free consultation. So everybody on this call can also get access to this, a free 15-minute phone consultation where I just engage you and listen to you to find out where you're at right now, what your menstrual cycle is like, and what challenges that you're dealing with, right? And then from there, I can let you know, if it's a case where you can just, do a little diet adjustment and whatnot and incorporate 1 or 2 steams a month and that sort of thing, then I can let you know exactly what you would need to do to address your current situation, right? Now, I also offer a deeper consultation, right? And the deeper consultation would include a menstrual cycle analysis, a full analysis of the menstrual cycle, and it would also include a plan for going forward. And this plan would have your vaginal steam plan, how often to steam, which herb blend of man would be best for you, when is the best time to steam, how long to steam for, which foods to avoid, which foods to incorporate based on the imbalances that are indicated in your menstrual cycle. So all of this would be tailored based on those imbalances that you are experiencing. So the approach is to reverse the underlying imbalances and not really to treat the symptoms. So when you work on reversing the underlying imbalances, you're addressing the issue from the root, right? Because the imbalances have to be present first in order for those challenges to manifest, right? So these, and I also sell the supplies. So for persons who are not in St. Lucia, even persons right here in St. Lucia as well, I empower you with the information, the tools that you need for you to take this right at your home and heal yourself, take care of yourself. So I'm not doing something for you. I'm just empowering you to be able to take care of yourself, right? So this is how I offer my services. So consultations, I also offer services at my office as well. Persons can come into me, have a consultation with me. I also offer Steams right there. And it's a whole lot of different ways. I also offer phone consultations, Zoom consultations. I also ship products out of St. Lucia to my clients who are not right here on island. So it's a variety of ways that we can work together. So at this point, Joy, I would like to welcome any questions that your listeners may have and to give them the answers that they're looking for.
Guys, this is amazing. This information is worth over $1,000 to be paid for. And, Kanika just, said everything out, give you all this information. So I hope you guys have been keeping pen writing on paper, because my whole book is writing all over my desk right now. I just want to before questions come in, I'm giving out your phone number on the chat so that they can, connect with you, Kanika.
Yeah.
And as you said, you do a 50-minute phone consultation and then a deeper consultation. Is there a fee attached to that?
Yes, so the deeper consultation has a fee attached to it.
All right.
But the 15-minute consultation is a free consultation.
Okay, super.
Yes.
So guys, girls, you have it right there. And before we go into the questions, this is the question I have. Sorry. Okay, right. So let's get in. I want to give you guys, you see, I gave you guys her tonight. And I know you guys will ask me again. So I would like your permission to bring you back on again on another session. We have every Saturday, we alternate with men as well. So I will ask the first question here. Do you do guys? Okay, I maybe say it the wrong way. Okay, do you do steam for guys?
No problem, Joy. Yes, this is actually something that I'm starting in 2023. It's been on my list of things to start doing, because the ladies, of course, who come to me, they ask me all the time, and their partners ask me as well, what do you have for men? And the steaming is also really good for men when it comes to maintaining good prostate health, preventing prostate cancer. In Eastern hospitals, this is one of the forms of treatment that they use for prostate cancer as well. And even in treatments of infections in men, sexually transmitted infections, all of these things, even erectile dysfunction and poor blood circulation, these things are addressed as well with pelvic steaming for men. So this is one of the things that I'm going to be doing starting next year.
Wow. So there you have it, guys. You see, we are having, we never leave out our guys, because we need you. We love you guys. So we need you. So we need you guys to be in full operational swings, right? I know we have, look, she just sent something there on the chat, her website.
So this is the link to book the free 15-minute phone consultation. You can use this link to book it, to select a time and day that works for you, and you can book it right there.
Lovely. So you guys got her number, you got her website to start, directly booking. And hey, we're going to have a grand time here in St. Lucia. So those of you who is on from Jamaica, the Bahamas, in the US, just book your ticket and come down, and we spend a few days of health and wellness, enjoying ourselves and seeing the beautiful, pitons and so forth. That's what we're all in about. So you have a total holistic healing when you come to St. Lucia. Okay, I just let that out the back, right? So moving forward, you spoke about I want to ask a question on the ethnic origin,
Mhm.
the ethnicity of women. You have done, I would know, different types, different ethnic groups of women.
Right.
What do you find most prevalent with have you find anything different with different ethnicities, or it's just normal across the board?
Okay, across the board it's been normal, and the two that stand out, the two underlying imbalances that stand out across the board is number one is the poor blood circulation. This one seems to
Right.
be a thing. Even when someone has no other imbalances, this one is indicated in some way, shape, or form.
Wow.
And I wouldn't say that I've worked with enough of a diversity, because most of the women that I've worked with are African American, but I have
Right.
worked with other ethnicities as well, but not enough to determine, differentiation between the two groups, you know?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, I have been an Indian Portuguese, so I you
Mhm.
did I did my steam with Kanika, and it was very, very, interesting. And I have never, I mean, I talk about it. You guys have it in my group, my video clip I did. I'm sorry I couldn't just get it on for you to see the experience, but it is very, very, it's a real experience. You guys need to get something done, because I have found that, I mean, a lot of women who have done it express that they felt, a new vagina. And I
Yes.
figured I have a new vagina. Hello, I am in my 50s and I'm not afraid to say it. And I felt my babe said it was all tight. So wow, I got virgin again. you know? So
Yes.
I mean, the experience is really nice. I think many women have problems, maybe as you said, from religious standpoints and backgrounds and so
Mhm,
forth. But
mhm.
now we are opening up to our sexuality and our sensuality. And
Right.
it is a question that, I mean, if you guys don't want to ask it, I will say it. I
Mhm.
mean, you feel great down there. My girl said, okay, she mixed different herbs. What flavor you want today? What scent you want today? What you want it to smell like, feel like? And it's like, wow, I chose mine. And
Yeah.
and it was like really amazing. There is so much you can feel. You can actually feel the vagina is feeling relaxed. It is not tense. It is not, in so many words. Okay, I'm not going to get too deep into it now, but she was like, she came to me and I said, I have been doing my steam, and wow, girl, I feel I was having an orgasmic experience. So Kanika just came on and she started laugh. She said, that's the one thing, Joy, I didn't want to tell you, because you feel that experience. And I can understand why. Because when those muscles are being caressed with the heat and the herbs, and it is doing what it's doing in circulation and so forth, wow, it's an amazing feeling. So let me just give
Mhm.
others a chance to speak. Um, what they want. To gosh, Marvel, you and this pineapple. You ask her yourself. Yes, and I think somebody asked in the room how it is done. So I mean, I'm not going to I can tell you
Can
what
I
I
say
would have.
something, Joy, first before
Yes,
she goes into that? I just
sure.
want to say, Kamika, that was an amazing presentation, and I'm so sorry that we didn't book out at 100 to 200 people, because women need to know this.
Mhm.
So many persons are suffering in silence, and
Yes,
to know that there's, these different options that we have, but oftentimes we don't take it. You know what I mean? And I think that it's just imperative for us to know that these options are out there, and like Joy said, it's an experience like no other. you
Yes.
know, and I think that we need to really be open to what is ours. Our vagina is a part of us.
Mhm.
And we don't like to talk about sexuality, but guess what? That is what procreation is. And that's what
right.
God put us women on here to do. So if
Mhm.
we don't take care of the area that procreates, come on now. You don't want no scents and drippings and liquids and little bumps and all sorts of things happening down there. But I think the presentation was absolutely amazing. For those that don't know, we do have it recorded. So it is going to be on YouTube. The link is being dropped in the chat. I will drop it again for those that just came on and missed, the full presentation. But it was simply amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. Definitely, it's something that I would have loved to do.
Thank you
Don't
so
worry,
much.
my girl. I will bring it across for you to do it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ruthann and Joy. So on that note, I only touched on, the physiological benefits and the medical benefits of this practice, but I didn't touch on the other amazing benefits, such as, you get back reconnected with that aspect of yourself, because prior to having a steam, it's almost like it doesn't exist. Like it's there, but like you're not connected with that aspect of yourself. But after you've had that steam, you've sat there and just had the steam work its way to your pelvic area, just steam gently caressing your vagina and that sort of thing. The way you feel, it's like you're now more aware that you have an organ down there, because you woke it up. That's how it feels. It feels so, uplifting, and other benefits women report are lucid dreams. Women who have trouble sleeping, they report that as well. Women also report that they're getting more moisture during sex. Other women also report that they get more tightness, and this is why it's really good for postpartum care as well, because it helps to, restore your organs, and based on which herbs you use, they would give you different benefits as well. It gives you also, some women have also cried sitting over a steam box because they had a spiritual release of a negative experience that they had over in their lives that they've been carrying, and most likely some traumatic sexual experience, crying over a steam box because of that, that kind of attention that they've received, and it's triggered them to release that negative experience. It's amazing, lots of different benefits, and it just feels good, just like when you've come from having a full body massage, the way your body feels, loose, and you feel good and you feel relaxed. Well, the steaming does the same thing for the reproductive system, for the vagina, and for your overall spiritual body, if that's a way to explain it.
Well, I'm seeing some hands raised. Marva, I know you're excited since the beginning, so go with your question, girl.
Oh,
and then Opal will follow up.
I was coming to hear you, Dr. Denise. No put down, but I like what I got tonight.
I know. I told you had a surprise.
And the pineapple question was directed to you.
Oh, okay.
We can talk. No, but this was amazing. And so since men can benefit from this, so women who have passed the childbearing age, that will work for them too, I take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I find my entire body's hot. Even my hands. When I touch people, sometimes they pull away and go, "Oh my God!" And then they come back and say, "Your hand is so warm." And so, down in Australia is really hot too, right? And so I'm wondering, how is that going to work for me? Because I can't even sit into a sauna. The horns start popping up all over me.
Yes. So for persons who have cases of excess heat, whether it's in the climate or in the body, you can still do vaginal steaming, but you would have to do like a mild steam, and that would be a 10-minute steam with no burner.
Okay.
Right. So just the hot water and the herbs, and you're just getting that gentle steam, and you do it for 10 minutes. You will still get all of the benefits of the herbs and the steam, but you will just be steaming for a shorter period. Right.
Okay. So around the same temperature, but
same temperature and no burner. The burner would keep it hot for a longer period. So we would use no burner for your case. No burner and a shorter time. Yes, go ahead.
Is it normal for somebody to have so much heat in their body though?
Yeah, well, if you are in a hot climate, then it
I
is
am
very,
not. I
very.
live in Canada,
Or you live in Canada. Okay.
and it's right through
Um,
the year. I'm like that.
yeah. Okay. So it depends on where you're at. If you're going through menopause right now or perimenopause
Hmm.
or one of these stages, then it's very
I
normal.
in 2021, I was
Mhm.
at just before my 61st birthday. I had a full period. Full period.
Wow.
Starts at the right time, boom at the right times, right up same amount of time when it's supposed to go for. So I'm saying, what the heck is this? What I have
Wow.
no business going through this now.
That was when? What year was that?
Last year.
Last year.
Mhm.
Okay, that's interesting because I heard a few reports of those of women who are supposed to be already in menopause and not should not be experiencing a period, but they started experiencing a period. And those women who reported that uh, after they got vaccinated. So I'm not sure of the correlation, but this
Oh
is what
no, no vaccination here, baby.
no vaccination.
No.
Okay. So this one it's probably a conversation to raise with your doctor as well to find out what this one was about. And
Maybe
it
it was
could
just a
also be
mindset.
right, it could also be uterine fatigue as well. Possibly you had a lot going on, maybe, some
Mhm.
stress or a lot of
Yes,
work or, all these
yes,
sorts of
yes.
things can cause you to bleed when you're not supposed to. So it can be some uterine fatigue.
So it looked like a correct period. It smelled like a
Mhm,
correct period, and it
mhm,
lasted for a correct amount of time. And I'm
mhm.
saying like, oh my God.
Wow.
Does that mean that I can get pregnant? Because I was getting a full period around that same time. It hasn't happened since, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as you're ovulating, you can still get pregnant.
But thank you very much.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You're welcome, Mama.
Yes, Mama.
Nice talking to you. You were doing so well before since you started. Wow.
I know,
Thank
eh?
you.
Everybody was been glued to just this,
Yeah, it's been an
information.
amazing evening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So, Opal, you go right ahead, my lady.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hi, good night.
This sounds very interesting. I'm sorry I missed it earlier. Thank you, Marva, for the invite also. I just want to ask one question. Is it okay for someone who has an hysterectomy to do a steam?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh,
Women with hysterectomies can still do steams as well.
mm.
Yes.
Does a steam take care of the
Polycystic
polycystic
ovaries. Yes.
over?
Yes. It helps to reverse the underlying imbalances that cause polycystic ovaries.
Okay.
Yes.
And where would one get the steam to buy?
Okay.
St.
So,
Lucia.
yeah, if you're not in St. Lucia, I can ship it out to you in your
I am in the
location.
Bahamas.
You're in the Bahamas. Okay, that's fine. We ship to the Bahamas as well. So my contact information is here in the chat, my phone number, and I also have a link here where you can book a free 15-minute phone consultation with me. So
Okay.
let me just post it here again. So you can use this link to book a time and day for us to have a conversation, and I can arrange for you to get your herbs and your supplies to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're most welcome, Opal.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Guys, any more questions? Guys, girls, any more questions for beautiful queen here out of St. Lucia? I want to thank you, Kanika. Your information was I can't I don't have words. I'm speechless. This is something that we don't get every day, and we can't pay for this kind of information that you have given us tonight, sharing yourself so willingly and so generously with us. I know everybody can, identify with this kind of information. So I'm not sure, Dr. Rutan, are you still on? Would you like to have anybody more questions, or Shineen, again, anybody for us tonight?
Well, I don't see any more hands up. Nobody's unmuted. Nobody's raising hands. So I guess
I'm
we did.
invisible now.
Oh, so I didn't see another hand. I didn't see your hand go up.
No,
Sorry.
I just opened my mic. I was just gonna say, this is a good time. We're bonding so well here tonight. I'm thinking that if we want, we can put together next summer and take a trip over to St. Lucia. Line it up, and like Dr. Denise is saying, let's
Oh,
do
yes.
something locally and get all these things done, get pampered and all that. I'm good. The only thing I have planned for next year might play in July. After that, I'm free.
It's interesting that you say that, Marva, because we're actually planning some retreats for next year. So you can look forward to that as well.
Okay, so we can do
Yes.
that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Wow, Kanika, we get that out of the bag.
Yes, we did that.
Yes, I mean, amazing. So, guys, girls, tonight, I'm not sure, Dr. Rutan, would you like us to touch on the formulations tonight? Is she on? Oh, has she come off?
It looked like she dropped. I don't see
Okay.
her.
All right. Well, let's just run through it because, it's what we do. So we spoke about, now, guys, if you have questions, anyone, please put it in the chat, because we are just going to touch on the formulations that we have, including into our session tonight, because, we have to activate our stem cells activity. So as we have our vagina steamed and everything is now in the right process, the right way for optimal health, we now want to look at liquid immunity in terms of, where we go and how our body can now, work with these supplements so that it can rejuvenate, regenerate, and renew ourselves. Okay, so we have the fantastic 4 lines. I'm just going to touch briefly. I'm not sure if Dr. Rutan is back on. Marva, can you let me know, or we can just run through the formulations?
Okay, go ahead and I'll try reach her.
Okay, well, as you know, the Hasaki, we just have 4 formulations that we normally, introduce, and what is it, in total wellness concept. So we have the Hasaki, which is a formula that contains 596 different metabolites from cacao, balances the intestinal flora and generate new nutrients. Now, our gut is our second brain. So many of the time, as you heard, Kanika spoke about our specialist on the V-steam therapy, and she said she also, formulates a diet to go with what we are experiencing. So the foods that we eat, it's not metabolizing, and it's not giving us the proper nutrients that we need. So she has to incorporate a diet if you want to have these healthy lifestyle and have the vagina doing what it needs to do to regulate. So why 596? 596 is the actual metabolites given for amino acids and enzymic function in the gut. So without the gut generating these nutrients to form digestion, we have all of these issues taking place, as we just heard so lovingly, what we need to do to create the environment to have the vagina work at its full optimal health. All right, so it nourishes the microbiota, it improves your protein absorption by 20%, it increases the oxidation of fat within the body, it sustains proper weight management, and provides vital energy to trillions of the mitochondria. The mitochondria is the life force in each cell within the human genome. So we have to nourish it so that it can give the correct signal so that it can send to these parts of the body to do what it needs to do. Moving forward, we have the Belage. Is Queen back on, Marva? Or? Marva?
Sorry, she just opened my text.
Okay.
So leave hers for now and do in a second.
And we continue. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll leave. She can only do this really graciously, the Belage. Well, Inner 7 is my little baby. I love the Inner 7 because it has 60 plus essential minerals, magnesium, sodium, potassium, to name a few, calcium. It's 100% natural. Folks, these formulations are not synthetic. They're 100% natural. As you see, it brings balance and connect the body back to its origin. Okay, it improves the natural defense mechanism. Without the magnesium, zinc, potassium, the body cannot regulate, stimulate nerve endings and help the body to relax. Okay, it contributes to proper pH balance to the body. We're just running through these formulations, folks, because I respect everybody's time within an hour. So we must understand the minerals are the essential building blocks of cell life. Without them, we cannot absorb anything that we put in our body for wellness. Okay, so we need it in our system. It stimulates relaxation and revitalization, helps persons to get a proper rest, helps you to relax, send out, release serotonins, endorphins when persons having, neurological issues and different things that goes on with the human body. It also helps to regulate when the blood cells is not able to absorb food and nutrition. What does help that? The minerals, because if the minerals is not in the cells, anything we put into the body cannot be absorbed effectively and efficiently, because these cells is what distributes towards the lymphatic system in our bodies. So, of course, as in connection with what Kanika said, when we have these issues, circulation issues happening, we may be low on minerals, calcium, magnesium, zinc, and she spoke about a diet and getting it from the food and nutrition that we have, supplementation. It improves intestinal transit. How many of us goes to the toilet if it's just, once a day? I hear people once a week. I hear never even in a week. Folks, we need, because if our system is clogged, a lot of things is going to happen to our bodies. And it also provides, as I say, the minerals for our bodies. Moving forward, Marva, would you like to take the Krunu fire? Marva?
Oh, sorry, I thought my microphone was open. Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
take it away.
The Krunu fire is, I have to say, my baby too. Nurse Donnelly is always getting at me because I couldn't sleep at one point, and I have baby's fat around the belly. Okay, and so she told me how to get to sleep on this, and so this really works. It reduces carbohydrates and sugar consumption. So when you're not gonna go eat sweet stuff saying you got this, and eat 2-3 slices of bread, because you have something to cover it, because you want to lose all these problems here. So you use what you have, and so it can help you to cut back on all these things. It helps to reduce fatty tissues, so like my baby fat, it helps that, and for gastric, you know what, I don't know, I do every time I'm doing this. Whenever I get to this part, I get nervous. Yes, but it fights against it's this gas in your belly, this gastric. It prevents it really, and for metabolism, it supports, give you a good support of metabolism, because how we eat and we say, and we just look at a piece of cake and we gain weight. So drinking this, it's true, it works. With another lie. So the Krunu fire, it helps in so many things that you never think about it. So people say, well, get you to your right BMI, and so well, I don't need to lose any weight. I don't want to do this. Yes, you do, because it's not going to interfere with your weight, interfere with your BMI. So even if we want to keep a little extra piece on the butt, and stuff, it's not going to keep it, for it's going to take it. But if you don't need to take anything, it goes and work on your organs. And in fact, around your organs, we'll clean that out and do everything that we don't know that we even need. Okay, you see a skinny lady out there, or a skinny gentleman, you don't know they have fat on their organs. But in this case, it will remove it. You probably just see it's in your urine or something. You see, you got some um got some phlegm coming up, but the black beans and the olives and the rosemary, green tea, and the green tea doesn't have caffeine. And all of these products, they come in tasting a bit sweet, but it's not sugar. It's the bacteria from the that's the word, what's the name of sorry, Dr. Denise, from the how is it sweetened again? I know it. I can't say the words, so it won't come to me, but it does help you to cause the taste to feel good, to taste good, so you can enjoy it. But there's no sugar added to these products at all. So just drink it, enjoy it, um, turn off all your lights, and watch it work.
Wow, amazing. Well, I'm not, are you through, Marva? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Thank you so much for explaining the Chrono Fire. I'm not seeing Dr. Rutan, so we'll just I'll go back to talking about the Balaj.
Right. She said that her
She's the
background
only,
all of a sudden got really busy and noisy, and she
yes.
can't get them out of her space.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So she
Okay.
apologized.
Well, Balaj stands for beautiful lady. It's the right energy for food, as you're seeing, and it is capable of acting on the inside cells and mitochondria, perfected with purified extracts of rosemary and olive. Folks, let me say something. Many people will want to say, okay, well, I have rosemary, I have olive plants, I'm just going to break a branch, boil it, and drink it. This is more than just boiling and drinking. Now, I respect the boiling and drinking, but it's the bacteria that is extracted from these plants, the extract that gives the efficacy of this product to work at the mitochondrial level. The mitochondria is the life force in each cell. So for instance, we take a cancer-ridden cell, all right? Now these cells are running through our entire body, okay? And what these formulation does, it zones into nanotechnology, which is nanomedicine that we have now in our hands, and it directs itself straight to that rogue cell and actually destroys it, or it actually helps the mitochondria to repair itself. So it's giving the cell the signal now, which is called the immunoglobulin index cell, which might be the IgA, the IgL cell, all right, to start the corrective measures to correct that disorderly gene, all right, or that genotype. So what it actually does, it sends the correct signal back to these cells so that it can do its work properly and activate stem cell activity, which is that comes dormant in our body over a period of time. So it needs something to activate it. Many of us eat poorly. Many of us don't take note of what we are eating, and it is just degenerating and destroying our system. So our body has been degenerated coming down these years. And now when we get hit with even the common flu, we cannot even build antibodies against it because it doesn't remember its signals anymore, because it is so degenerated that, we're losing our chromosomes, we're losing our telomeres, it's just degenerating. So this Balaj is the wonder baby, together with all the other formulation, to start the correct processes within the body. So it strengthens the immune system. It increases our energy production from the mitochondrial level. It reactivates natural antioxidants in the body. All right. It improves hydration at a cellular level. Okay. It actually decreases fats and sugars, improving blood circulation. So what that is telling us, it helps in metabolizing. Folks, everything starts from the mouth. Then it goes into the stomach, the small intestines, where digestion takes place. Any, not disease or dis-ease within the human body starts with digestion. So if we can have digestion under control, breaks down our lipids, our glucose, our carbohydrates, or all of these things within our body, and have proper digestion, we're going to have proper wellness within our system. Tonight, We don't make no claims as to, the formulations of the products. It is a food, and a food is it, when you eat food is what restores the body. So without further ado, I hope tonight was very informative to you guys. I saw someone on the call tonight, and I don't know if that person will shine in. He's my brother from another mother. I am not sure if he's still on. Tim, are you there? Tim Trehan, are you there?
I just unmuted him.
Okay.
Okay. If he was taking notes, or maybe doesn't want to say.
I know he's my brother from another mom. Eh? He's all our brother. Okay, I take that away from
He's
you.
shy. He's
Yeah.
shy.
I guess he's shy tonight. I'm not sure if he's on, if he's hearing, but I just want to thank all of you who came on the call tonight. I really appreciate you guys, and we are going to have the beautiful Queen out of St. Lucia back on in another session. So without further ado, Marva, would you like to call on someone, or you close us in prayer as we commit this call into God's hands?
Amen. Lord, we thank you tonight, oh God. Lord, we have come out with such vast amounts of information, oh God. All we need now, Lord, is to apply it to ourselves, our everyday life, oh God. We thank you for always keeping us informed, oh Lord, that it doesn't matter where we go, we will always know the right things that you have for us. So, Lord, I'm thanking you for to keep this information in our hearts, oh God, that we can able to go and tell somebody else, not just keep it for ourselves, because information like this should be spread. We should spread it out. And so I thank you, Lord God, that thank you for this lovely lady who came out. You know, she could have been doing something with her time tonight. This is an unpaid job for what she did here tonight. And so we want to thank you, Lord, that you will refill her, and so she can keep information going, oh God. Thank you for Dr. Joy Guerrero, oh God, that she brought this lady in, and that she has a wealth of information also that she passes on to us. And thank Dr. Ruth Ann, and for every single person on this call. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Have yourself a beautiful rest of the week and weekend, and stay strong. Amen.
Amen. Good night to all.
Good night. You have the host, Dr. Joyce.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, all right.